Hey, I was looking over the review and preview for section 113, and it looked like quite a few people were struggling with number 27. So I wanted to make a video for this one to help you out with this, because there will be something similar to this on your test. So I just wanted to make sure that you know how to do it. If you use that 127 homework tool, you could, use the pointer finger and open it in Safari. I've already done that to make sure it didn't take too long. But if you do that, it makes this problem a little bit more easier. So I'm just going to switch screens here to show you that once you open up the Desmos tool, it will show that same table of values that is in your homework assignment, and then it also shows you 3 of the points that were given. Now that we can see this graph, we can also see that we can add a point to this. Well, I can't really write on that. To, let's see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, to 4, 1. So if we look on here, I don't see 4, 1, but let's see. We have a -1, so let's go to the left. So we can add 1, and we can clearly see that the slope is going to be 1. So we can put 0 and then down 3. So let's go ahead and write in a -3, and then it puts that another point in there for you so that you can see that. And then if we continue to move to the left, that would be at -1 down 4. So I'll go ahead and put a -4 inside of that chart, and it puts in another point for us. Then -5, if we just keep moving to the left, it does jump a little bit. So -5 would be, let's see, that's 1, 4. Then we're going to go down 1 to the left, which is -5. Then down 6, 7, 8. So we can put in a -8. And then that notice that it put that new dot in, which is still on the same line as that one. And then we see a -2, which would then be at -5. So if you use this decimal tool, it can help you plot the points so that you can see it. And then you can also see that your slope is going to be 1/1. So if we write in our equation here inside of Desmos, it's y equals m is your slope, which we can see is 1. Oh no, it disappeared. There we go. So let's erase that. So then we have our x, 1 function. Oh, ABC is on the bottom left. So we have our x, and then we have to have your y-intercept. Well, it's crossing the y-axis when x is at -3. And then notice that that line covers all of your points there. So if you use the Desmos tool, that would help you find this equation, but you don't necessarily have to do that. We could do it by using algebra. So we know that in order to write an equation, we need y equals mx plus b. Well, we need to figure out what the slope is. Now there's missing values in the y, but what we can do to find the slope is remember that the slope value is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's the formula. So let's say that, let's just use any of your values here for your x and y, and I'm going to say that this is x1 and this is y1. That's from a point, and then I can say that this is x2 and this is y2. So now if I use the y2, which is a -1, minus y1, which is a 0, and then x2, which is a 2, minus x1, which is a 3. Then I will get a -1 over -1, which means my slope is 1. So now that I know my slope is 1, I can plug that into the equation. I don't know my b value though, because your b value is your y-intercept. So when x is equal to 0, what's your y? So we don't have that information. So what we can do is we can plug in one of the points that they give us. I like to use the smaller positive values because they're easy to calculate. So let's go ahead and plug in 3 in for x and 0 in for y so that we can solve for b. So when y is 0, x is 3, we still don't know the value of b, but we can solve for that. So then I'm going to say 3 plus b, subtract 3 from both sides, and then now we have b equals a negative 3. So now that's our b value. So now we would plug it back into the equation. Y equals your slope, which is 1, x minus b. You don't need the 1 in front of the x, but if you want to put it there, that is fine. And now what we can do to fill in the rest of the table is we can plug those values into the equation. So like if we did y equals 1, and so if we want to find that 0, we can plug in 0 for x minus 3, and then we can say y is equal to a negative 3. And so that's how we can fill in each one of those y values. So now we would plug in a negative 1 to figure out what the y is, and then we would plug in the negative 5 to the equation to figure out what the y is. And so that's how you can fill out the table. My suggestion is to use the Desmos tools when they make them available for you. I think that it will take care of most of the heavy lifting, and it'll help you visualize what's going on with the problem. I hope that helped.